Hi, I'm Jim Knotts, President and CEO of the Vietnam Veterans Memorial Fund. Welcome to today's virtual reading of the names. 2022 marks the 40th anniversary of the dedication of the Vietnam Veterans Memorial in Washington, D.C. As part of our commemoration, we'll host an in-person reading of the names at the wall from November 7th through 10th, 2022, when all 58,281 names on the wall will be read aloud. In the lead up to that event, we'll be reading names each day online while sharing the photos of these heroes. For our daily virtual reading, the names of the service members will be read by month and day of death between the years 1956 and 1975 in alphabetical order for the given day. We apologize in advance for any mispronunciations. Know that our readers are doing their best to honor these service members. We hope you'll listen and watch each day and share with others as we remember and honor those who gave their lives during the Vietnam War.
Spencer Adams, Ivan Richard Asper Jr., James Stephen Baird, Edward Francis Berry, Charles Lee Baugh, James Harvey Bennett, James Graham Blaine, Harry Jean Bloomfield, John Edward Bonesack, Benjamin Forrest Bolding, Leroy M. Borst Jr., Michael Allen Basowski, Charles Boyd, Raymond Dale Bragg, James Robert Brobst, Robert Francis Brault Jr., Richard Norman Brusso, Benjamin Burgos Torres, Joseph Scott Burke, Emmanuel Farrow Burrows, Michael Morris Cady, Harvey McKee Karkin, Mervyn Maurice Carson, John E. Carter Jr., Richard Allen Carver, David Manfred Cash, Joseph Michael Casserly, Alan B. Chamberlain, James Stanley Childers, Lawrence Christian Clausen, James Paul Cobb, Peter Colicchio, David Wayne Comer, Richard Neil Concannon, Lad Robert Condy, Gregory Mack Coons, Edward Erlin Cox Jr., Willis Kelvin Creer, Donald Everett Crone, Erskine Logan Crump, Kenneth Lee Kreisel, Donald Milton Dale, William Marcus Daniels, Johnny Nathaniel Daniels, Lunas Jonas Daniels, Dale L. Davis, James Thomas Davis, Herbert Carson Davis, Warren Mitchell Dixon, Dennis Dorsey, Clarence Wilson Dunbar, Donald Lee Dyerson, Charles William Eglin III, Stephen Glenn England, Fernando Barquinas Estevez, Joseph Anthony Filato, Russell J. Fauser Jr., Marion Franklin Ferguson, James Thomas Fields, David Luther Fisher, Barry Frank Fivelson, Douglas Monroe Fracker, Lester Freeman, Spencer Scott Freestone,
Kenneth Liga Fulton, Norman Ray Garrett, James Thomas Gaynor, Ronald Charles Geller, Bill W. Gentry, Franklin Bradley Gilbert, Jimmy Gonzalez, Frederick William Haas, Thomas Scott Hamilton, Kenneth Lee Hargrave, James Marshall Hill, Alvin Jock Ho, John Bernard Hogan, Ernest Paul Holmes Jr., Mark Roland Horner, John William Howell, Gerald Edward Hull, Richard Raymond Hurley, Mark Everett James, Stanley M. Jamrock, Philip Ronald Jarrett, David Henry Johnson, Zebulon Murphy Johnson Jr., Robert Kiyoshi Kawamura, David Earl Keister, Michael John Kelly, John William S. G. Kelly, James Lee Kramer, Francis Kenneth Kulbatsky, Vernon Harvick Lackey, Stephen Eugene Lair, Roger Gale Lee, Marvin Maurice Leonard, Clayton Liggins, Robert Wiley Linson, Donald Stephen Lowry, Earl Mack, Van Dyke William Manners, Thomas Joseph Margle, John Marks, Julian Ernest Marquez, Davy Joe Martin, Oscar Mouterer, Clyde Richard McAfee, Muriel McDaniel, Charles Francis McGrath, Danny Lee McMinn, Charles Earl Melton, Robbie Ray Mills, Ronald Anthony Monish, Domenico Morgera Jr., Patrick William Murphy, Robert Ortiguero Natarte, Russell Wayne Noggle, Bruce Anthony Nelson, William Clinton Niedecken, Dennis Cole North, Robert Jean O'Connell, Edgar Wilfredo Oriot, Joe Lucio Ortega Jr., Larry Freeman Ott, Gary Clifton Paddock, Hubert Palmer, Connie Wayne Parrish,
John Rocco Peretta, Anthony John Protobradsky, Raymond Roger Poston, Gary Reginald Powell, John Lynn Powers, Edward Beading Quill Jr., Alvin Lewis Raper, John James Raymond, Stanley Eugene Redman, Michael Patrick Riley, Rodney Howard Rickley, William Stephen Riggs, Richard Bennett Reinhardt, William Rivera Garcia, Charles Lester Robbins, Roman Duran Rodriguez, Ramon Saul Rodriguez, James Leroy Rush, Melvin Hilton Sanders, William Daniel Sapp, Stephen Roy Sargent, Theodore Francis Sass, Carl William Schwanbeck, Richard Jarrett Sexton II, Anthony George Shepler Jr., Roy Dell Shingler, Jimmy Luis Seiler, Charles Leroy Slack Jr., Pedro Andre Smith, Spencer Smith, James Leroy Smith, Winston John Smith, Louis Ray Soward, Eric B. Speak, Ural Stanley Jr., Kurt L. Starkey, Kenneth M. Steinkirchner, Waymond Nelson Stevenson, Robert Cole Stewart, James Joseph Stewart, Roy Francis Swed, Henry Marcial Tibet, Yoshio Takahara, Thomas Tamalio, Tagipo Vioga Tayula, Norman Alfred Taylor, James Harry Taylor, Wade E. Thackeray Jr., James Patrick Thompson, Brent John Tosh, Gabrielle Trujillo, Kenneth Wayne Tucker, Rex Franklin Tudor, Harold Ray Tyson, Benjamin S. Underhill, Louis Russell Valentine, Anthony Robert Valentino, Donald Wilbanks Vaughn, Richard Paul Valence, Jose Eduardo Villanueva, Carl Merritt Waldron Jr., Richard Ambrose Walsh III, Louis William Warner Jr., Ernest Watson, Charles M. Waite, Brian Lee Wells, Fred Darrell Whitaker, Gerald Paul Wick, Thomas Wayne Wiggins, Wayne Allen Wilcox, Louis Edward Willett, Ralph Leroy Williams, Roger Glenn Wilson, James Lewis Wood, Michael James Wyman, Fred Charles Zimpher.